And there we go. Hello, YouTubers. Did you eat your sweets?
Hello. Hello, sweet. I was slightly thinking about hanging my duvet across my door in case anybody walks past,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know how.
I was going to say, we'll wait and watch if you want.
No, that's all right. That's for next time. Oi.
Okay. So I've got all the audio files are synced up. We are now recording
Yes,
video.
we're not recording audio yet, right?
No, I am not recording audio yet. We need to
Good.
do our happy clapping.
Makes my life easier.
Well, I'm ready. If you're ready.
Yep, just getting my notes up in the right bit.
Do 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 DuckTales. Do do do. I've been singing that all day.
I thought you didn't like DuckTales.
Don't. I mean, shh.
I mean, it's not. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before that you don't like DuckTales.
No, it's a secret.
Right.
I'm going to say something
Like,
shock.
like
I'm
you
going to
don't
say.
like Words with Damage.
I'm going to. No, that's very awful.
Well, you did that one.
We did that, and we're never doing it again. Right. Okay, you sorted?
Think so. Got to layer everything.
Yeah, that's what I've got. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 windows open at the moment. Various types.
Fantastic.
Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, hang on,
Ooh,
hang on.
that was me.
I
I
can
can hear
close
myself
that.
now.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a bad thing.
Right. Close window, close window. Close window. Let's get rid of all the crap I don't need. I need that. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I
Ready
think
to
I'm
start
ready.
recording audio?
I think we're ready to start recording audio. Let me fire it up.
Hang on.
DuckTales. Do do do.
Unique New York.
Okay, I'm going to start recording in 3, 2, 1. Hello, hello, hello. Yep, I'm recording.
I have done such as well.
Shall we clap? Because this always
Yep,
goes.
I'm going to speak as loud as I think I'm going to speak in order to get my levels right in just a moment, and I believe this is the loudest I'm going to speak, and oh my god, it's amazing! Okay, that's good.
That's quite loud. It's way louder than me.
Loud on your end. It's
Well, yeah,
okay, you're not important.
Oh, hang on. Just
What?
speak.
Hello?
My audio recording's picking you up.
That will be...
Hang on, I think I know what it is. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop this.
Stop everything.
Yeah. No. Just the.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, we haven't done sync, so I'm going to get rid of this intro form with the audio.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, stop your audio as well.
Yep. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you just speak?
Hello, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Why is it picking you up?
Because I'm coming through Discord.
Yes, but
which is going through into your computer settings.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Because my headset. Oh, shut up. Hello? Hello? No, I can still hear it. Hello? Hello? Right. My headset microphone has got everything running through it. And I was hoping I was just going to be able to record the. Okay. Well, this is an interesting challenge.
So it's running through everything.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, everything's coming. Everything is. It's listening to my mic because I was hoping I could just record my microphone on Audacity, but it looks like it's going to get everything.
Shouldn't.
But it does.
What's your input device set to on your PC? It must be set to that cable, right?
I think
What
so.
we did earlier.
It's set to voice meter.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only way. It has to be because that's the only way I can get sound effects come through.
Is there a way for you to change the input of if you in theory it shouldn't record me through Audacity then.
Right.
That would be if you set it the input to voice meter on Audacity. Try that. Try that. Why not? Because everything else is not working the way I think you should.
Try what?
Set the input of Audacity to voice meter.
Oh, okay. I think that's. We're using. Which one are we using? That one. Okay. Speak.
Hello. You still being picked
Hello.
up?
Hello. Hello. It's not picking
Hello.
anything up now.
Anything at all?
No, hang on. Let's try the other voice meter.
Yeah, there's two.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, speak.
Hello. Burp.
Right, that's weird. It's just picking me up now. So if I set it to
There we
voice meter, it only does me.
Good.
That's. I don't understand that.
Because it's outputting. It's not. You're outputting voice meter into Discord.
Can you hear that?
Yep. Because that's coming out of your laptop speakers.
But it shouldn't be. It should be coming out of my headset.
Why? Are
'Cause
you
that's what
playing
I've
that?
got-
What's
that's
the
what I've
output
got
of
set.
Audacity?
It was set to my headset.
What's the output of your computer set to? Voice meter.
Yeah, I think so. Playback. And that's recording. Headset microphone with default is voice meter. That's weird. Alright, that's fine. Let's set it as voice meter. Fuck it.
Oh well, just don't play it back.
Well, no, I don't need to, I suppose. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. Yep, I'm recording.
I have done such as well.
Shall we clap?
I can hear
You're a lot louder.
this yep, I'm going to speak as loud as I think. Yeah, it's fine. I was just messing with it.
Okay. Right.
I can mess with that in post. I'm not worried about.
Isn't this exciting YouTube viewing?
Oh, you're still filming that, are you?
Yeah, I forgot.
I thought you weren't gonna.
Well, it's too late now. It's done. It's done. It's in.
Right. So I'm going to press record on audio again. We're going to do a clap sync.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm recording.
3. Okay. Recording as well. Hang on. 3, 2, 1. That was really bad. Did you get it right?
That was spot on. That was spot on.
Okay, it wasn't for me, but it's fine. If it was spot on for you, then we'll do it for yours.
All right.
Whatever.
Okay, so recording. Right, are you ready?
Yep.
As you'll ever be.
Yep.
Let me switch over there. Let me put that back on. And
so, quick brief. Are we going to be doing the cards?
We're not doing the cards.
Okay.
We'll talk about how weird it was. We'll talk about them, but I'm not going to do the numbers. I'm not going to rate it. I'm not even going to mention it until the end. In fact, I'm not going to mention
that the cards.
Yeah. We'll give it a final rating out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll make a note of that. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to get that out. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, my laptop's just whirring away. My mic's not picking it up, which is good. I'm ready.
Okay. And we're going to do the intro in 3, 2, 1. Hello! Welcome to Serial Viewing, the podcast that will take you back in time to look at children's TV shows that you may still love, may have forgotten, never heard of, and let's find out if they're as good or as bad as we remember. With me, as always, is... Speak his name.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
My name is Jeremy,
There we go.
as it always is. I was waiting for that.
Yes.
How are you?
I am sweaty. It is
Yes.
exceedingly humid.
It is so here. We are both by the sea, different seas.
We are. We're 3.5 hours apart by the seaside.
Yeah.
We've had 3 days of blazing sunshine in the afternoon and then thick fog overnight. It's rolling in now. It looks quite impressive. But
Fog.
it's
You
massive
literally just
fog.
had grey all the time.
Oh no, we get sunshine here. My seaside's better than your seaside.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome to the show. This is episode 4, I believe. Yep. And we watched DuckTales. Jeremy's trying to remember how to count.
Is it really?
It is.
I feel like we've done more than that.
It has felt like a bit epic at times. Right, so
Yes.
This is Disney's DuckTales, the globe-trotting, treasure-hunting, money-making adventures of billionaire Scrooge McDuck and his nephews. And we watched Season 4, Episode 4, New Gizmo Kids on the Block, 90s reference, which was first aired on the 5th of November 1990. Fenton's mother accidentally shrinks the Gizmo suit in a wash, which creates an opportunity for Huey, Dewey, and Louie to become the newest Duckburg superhero, but which one of them will succeed? This has a 7.4 rating on IMDb, is one of the highest rated ones on there. And I have so much trivia for this episode.
I was thinking this would be a trivia-heavy centric
Yes.
episode. Was it the most popular of all the DuckTales? I don't think it was it?
It wasn't, because I was surprised. There's not actually that many DuckTales on YouTube, which is, if you want to go watch it, Season 4, Episode 4, it's on YouTube. And some of them are in German, some of them... Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, to be honest. It's a more modern TV show, and it's a lot bigger than anything we've really covered so far.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's huge. Well, we're
Owned by
into
Disney as well.
we're into Disney territory now, which is when we first discussed this, which is something I said we weren't going to do. We were going to stay away from Disney. Not being the biggest Disney fan in the world, I'll be honest.
Which is why we had to do it.
Which is why we had to do it. Yeah, so this came out in 1990, and it is leaning in heavily to the 90s. Did you used to watch this?
Very, very heavy 90s.
As a child of the 90s, did you watch this?
No.
No?
My family, which you'll know, we didn't really get Disney.
But no,
I guess we
suppose-
couldn't afford it. Especially, but in those pivotal years of when I was younger, so
But
Disney was not really on the viewing list.
and I was, by 1990, I had already aged out. I was way too old for this. So I'd never really seen DuckTales. I knew what it was, but I don't remember it. I don't remember ever watching it.
So this is bang on 1990.
1990.
Right.
And like I said,
I thought it was later than that.
it does feel that late, doesn't it?
It feels very 90s. It doesn't feel like the 90s had time to establish itself in 1990, but it feels heavily 90s.
Well, I take it back. This started in 87. This episode we saw
Well, yeah.
was from the last series, was in 1990. So it's not even 90s, it's late 80s, but it is already... There was so much 90s about it. The theme tune was very 90s. The animation was very early 90s. I wouldn't say very early. It wasn't mid 90s because we hadn't got into the more grown-up cartoon style. But it was there. If you'd have asked me, I would have said early 90s, but it's earlier.
Wow, so DuckTales is actually older than The Simpsons.
Yes. Oh, well, it's actually...
That's pretty fantastic.
DuckTales is actually older than that. Where is it? Because this was originally... Scrooge was created in 1948.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
Scrooge.
actually, it makes more sense because Disney is old and they've been doing animation for so long, so it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, 1948. Wow.
It might
I mean,
actually.
obviously, you had Daffy, not Daffy, Donald. Wrong,
So
wrong franchise.
44 Duckburg, the place where it all happens, was created in a comic,
No.
Disney comic books. Um, Scrooge, yeah, the Clan McDuck. Scrooge McDuck was his clan. That was introduced in '48. Huey, Dewey, and Louie were adapted into animation in 1938.
Really?
Yeah, they appeared in
That's
28 of the classic animated shorts, the last in '67.
well. When was Steamboat Willie?
Oh, that was 20s. That was a good 10 years earlier, at least.
Yeah, but that's only 10 years away from the first ever feature-length animation. Is it feature-length animation? I think
They,
so. It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
feature-length, but it's
No,
the
but it's
first one that was
yeah,
released
yeah,
in that.
because the Huey, Dewey, and Louie were introduced in '38 as Donald's nephews, and then
hmm
Scrooge McDuck was created and introduced in '47.
hmm
I think he has had several thousand appearances in Disney comics.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a Disney comic in my life.
I think it's one of those things that they just kind of show up in anything Disney branded that is released as an article, like magazines and such, which I would have gotten when I was younger.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it's
So
anything Disney.
so what did you think of the theme song?
Um,
Did it fit?
Heavily 90s.
It really is.
So, so 90s. Oh my God. And I think I kind of liked it. Like, because it reminds me of that 90s cartoon era, which is just fun and it's very much for kids. It's
I
very
don't
much
like
for the kids of the era.
I don't like it, and I have been singing it all day.
Yes.
I've been watching da 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 DuckTales all day. It's been driving me up the wall. I don't even realise I'm
I
doing
think
it.
it's as far as like I don't think mean this in the way I enjoy it, but I think it's pretty perfect as a theme song goes because it delivers everything and it's very punchy and it's an earworm.
It is. It really is. And
Mm.
I had occasion to watch this episode twice. And the first time I just kind of went, yep, very early '90s theme song, and just glossed over it. And then I watched it again this morning, and I've been singing it all day. So something got its hooks in.
Mm.
It's a
No,
full
I watched it. I watched it once and the first time I viewed it, I was like, this is the most 90s show intro we've ever watched. I think I've ever seen. So yes.
the it's a full minute long, and it's a full
Oh, it was long, yeah.
yeah, it's a full production. Um, there are actually four versions. I don't know why I'm holding up three fingers. Four versions of the theme song that had been released on various Disney soundtracks. I don't know if it changed during the show's run, so you'd have a different one for each series, or if anyone knows, let me know because I'd be interested.
Mm.
Um, and it's a full minute long, so it's a full production. And something I noticed on my second viewing that I didn't notice on the first one is that the score for the whole thing, it's a full orchestral score throughout.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually
Oh,
really
I didn't
quite
pick that up.
good. Well, I didn't. It wasn't something I was listening for, and then I was listening to it. I grabbed some sound clips from it, so I was stopping and starting, and I was like, it's actually quite a good score for what it is.
Mm. Well, I mean, not to pat us on the back, but we're definitely pacing ourselves with these TV shows because we've done low budget, real low budget. I'd say World's War Gummidge is probably the lowest we've done. And we've done like big productions like Jerry Anderson's, the Fanderson, is it Fanderson? No, Super Mario Nation,
Hmm.
and
Super Macro Nation.
Trapdoor. But this is the first time we're doing a big, big, big corporation. I mean, this is right when Disney came back as well and was
Hmm.
making money again. So
Well,
this is they,
they were spending
yeah.
$275,000 per episode.
90s. Well, I mean, 80s
which is
money.
a
Yeah,
ridiculous amount of money. I mean, the
that's
whole
how much you'd
run,
spend like now.
yeah,
Not
the
even
whole
that.
the whole run for all 100 episodes run to just over $27 million, which is a huge chunk of change.
It is, yeah, ridiculous. But again, it's Disney.
Yeah,
They
well,
were
yeah,
really
this
into
is it.
this.
They can throw the money at it until it becomes successful.
Hmm. I mean, how long has this show did this show go on for? I mean, it's still going now. Or they
Well,
re I don't know if they relaunched it, but
they
it's still
did
going now.
reboot it. This particular ran for the 3 years, 4 seasons over 3 years, but then it went into syndication, which was I
Right.
think it was one of the first Disney cartoons that they tried to put it into syndication. They kind of made a gamble that if they really sank a lot of money into it, into proper quality animation, they could then make it back by syndicating it out to all of the independent American TV stations.
Right.
Um,
Just to
that had only
explain the syndication real quick.
it's franchising basically.
Yeah.
They sell it to independent TV stations or other TV stations to run, and then you buy a series or however it works. But it's
Hmm.
essentially a franchise. It
Yeah.
had only ever been done with inexpensive cartoons, very throwaway cartoons, previously,
Hmm.
and this was the first big one, and it worked. It was a massive hit for Disney, and it was such a massive hit. It spawned, um, I think it was three. Yeah, it was three spin-offs, or off the back of this. They think that worked. It was this one, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers in '88,
I know of Chip and Dale.
Tailspin in
Not heard of
1990.
that one.
Well, Tailspin is a offshoot of Ducktales
Right.
because it's got launch. I think it's Launchpad McQuack, who is Scrooge's pilot, and
Nice.
then 1994's Gargoyles was also done the same. So these were all they came off of the back of this. They also got put into syndication. Gargoyles is excellent, and I cannot wait to watch it.
I don't know anything about gargoyles.
Oh, you're
I've
gonna
not heard of
love it. I know you. You're gonna love it. It's
that.
fantastic.
Okay, good.
But yeah, so this was a big gamble. They sank a lot of money into it, and they made it back. It worked.
Do you so I mean, we're gonna get into trivia in a minute, but has Disney before I mean in the 80s, big time 80s, was there any cartoon show that was successful as DuckTales was? And like,
Ooh.
because a lot of the animation TV show stuff, I feel like is kind of spawned from that love of. They're very similar in style to DuckTales. I mean, some of them are for younger audiences. A lot of the Mickey Mouse
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
is, but like there's like the Goofy lot and yeah, well,
I'm making. Sorry.
stuff like that.
I made a face. Goofy.
Yeah.
G-
I mean, I don't know if they were any big, but I mean, like, were high profiting cartoons recently around the same time as DuckTales,
I'm gonna. I don't know. I'll be
produced by Disney.
honest. Not by Disney.
Yeah,
No, not by Disney. Other animation houses. I mean, animation had been a staple since the late
30s.
'60s, early '70s. I mean, it's been around. Yes, but it became a proper
Oh, you
TV
mean yeah,
thing.
kids shows.
Yes, yeah, and it became a vehicle for selling toys,
Hmm.
basically. I mean
Yeah, it did. That's the
that
thing.
really matured in the '90s. That really became, but it was an element. It was always there.
So, do you reckon that? Well, I guess that's the common era of cartoon shows, isn't it? I mean, we're kind of getting out of that now, I think, with the high popularization of anime and adult cartoon shows. But I think that was it, the kind of spawn from it from like the late 70s to mid 2000s. Do you reckon DuckTales is kind of what got Disney into that sort of?
I think it brought them into the TV market.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
it's they looked in and said, yeah, we
well,
can make some
animation
money here.
wise, yeah.
Yeah, we can make some money here. We can do it because
Hmm.
I mean, Disney has had endless. I mean, we've got a couple more Disneys on the list, like the gummy bears and I think the raccoons are Disney ones, but they're there.
We, I mean, but Animaniacs is Disney, isn't it?
No, that's Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah. Now once I said that,
Animaniacs.
I thought it was Looney Tunes. Not Looney Tunes. Warner Brothers.
Hmm.
But oh, what was it? In the but I think Disney own Cartoon Network now, or is
I
that
would.
also Warner Brothers?
Disney own nearly everything because
They own a lot.
they're an evil
I think.
corporate empire. Rrr.
Well, you say what you want, but I think I'm not defending Disney with that. I just can't be asked. So I think they own Cartoon Network, which means they will, and I think they own Nickelodeon or something.
That
I have to find that
I
out
don't know. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. We're watching kids shows, but I don't know.
because I'm thinking about the modern ones. Because if that's so, in fact, I'm going to look that up now. So let's move on to the next segment because I really have a tangent here. I really want to get into that, but because it's all about modern cartoons and such. But anyway, yes.
So, as a character, he's not in this, but
Yep.
as a character, do you like Donald Duck?
He's all right. If I had to choose between Donald Duck and Daffy Duck, I'd go Daffy Duck every time.
Absolutely. I always found Donald Duck, his annoyance didn't amuse me. Him being annoyed all the time
It
just used to annoy me because he was
it
grumpy.
didn't
And I know
really irritate me.
you're supposed to laugh at the grumpiness, and it was like he's not that sympathetic a character that I want to laugh with him. And his voice, I'm going to say it now, his voice annoys me.
It doesn't really annoy me. It's just I didn't find him as funny as I would say Daffy Duck. Um, I mean a lot of it, more of it is humor. I guess all of these cartoon characters have had almost 100 years to mature, but
Well,
I think so. They've obviously had different kinds of personalities. But I
go.
think Daffy Duck every time, Donald Duck, when he gets angry is all right.
Oh,
I
I
don't
suppose
mind that too much.
that's not bad. But I wrote in my notes is I'm finding it hard to sympathise with Huey, Louie, and Dewey because their voices are so
Hmm.
flippin' annoying. And I have an example.
Hmm.
You ready?
Go on in.
Oh,
Wow! At a penny a pop, we're gonna be rich! Hey, these aren't cats!
it's that.
Wah.
Yeah, it's just
I know what you
annoying.
mean. It's like a whine.
Yeah, it is absolutely wine. I hate it. uh,
Okay, so I'm going back to the tangent I had before. I think to correct myself, Cartoon Network is owned by Warner Brothers.
right.
So they did for English stuff. They did Ben 10, and they did I think they do Teen Titans and stuff like that. Nickelodeon is owned by CBS, which is not owned by Disney, which I thought it was. So that's SpongeBob and
They do.
all sorts. I think I haven't been able to confirm this yet, but I think Disney might own Boomerang, which is
I'd forgotten about
they have Pink Panther and stuff on there, and
Right.
Scooby Doo. That's from my knowledge. It may have changed. These are corporations; they get bought out and sold, and their animations they're pumping out animation TV shows like nothing. So
Oh yeah, it's a manufactured
it's a
industry
huge
now. It's just
conglomerate.
thumping it out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch the? Right, I have a couple of questions. So
Yep.
Fenton is Gizmo
Mm-hmm.
Duck, and he works for Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now Scrooge is an exceedingly rich man, and he pays
Mm-hmm.
Gizmo Duck. He's an employee. He pays Gizmo Duck to help guard all of his wealth. Now I know Scrooge is
Right.
supposed to be a Scrooge and a tight ass, but the fact that Gizmo Duck, a superhero, lives in a crappy trailer with his mum in a crappy neighbourhood, he's not getting paid enough at all.
No, I didn't really. I haven't really watched DuckTales before, so I didn't get that Scrooge McDuck was paying him. I thought he knew who he was, so he would help him out. But that actually, now you said that,
Yeah.
the fact that he lives in a trailer park and his mum does his washing like she said it at some point. I think I wrote it down. It's like his yearly laundry,
Yeah.
which I thought that was a jab at the fact that he'd be, like a teenage boy or something,
He's a superhero.
a young
Why?
adult man. But it's because he has no money.
Yeah. And
So he
I
can't
know, I know.
afford
The
to
joke
live
is that Scrooge is tight, but seriously, this man is protecting your wealth.
Yeah. Seems like
Um,
it's a bit of a fetch.
His mum, Fenton's mum,
Oh
was
yeah.
the hair in curlers permanently, the pink dressing gown. She was a classic stereotype, which I don't mind.
Yeah,
I didn't.
she's
It didn't bother me as
she
much as it has
had
in
a
other.
lot of Disney traits, Disney villain
Yes.
traits
Yes.
that I found out. So she had an ulterior motive. She had, the perm, the aggressive, the mom stylization, oh, mom's, but like
Yes.
in a mean way, more like a mean aunt, I guess. But I did see that it was very heavily Disney stylized.
Yeah. So I've already spoken about how the kids talk, and they've got the Donald
Mm-hmm.
Duck squeaky whine. Why doesn't Scrooge talk like that? Or Fenton, or his mum? Why
Scrooge
is
is
it
Scottish, isn't he?
so? Huey, Dewey, and Louie's whine, Donald Duck whine. Is that an accent? Is that a duck accent?
It could very well be. It could be a speech impediment. It could be genetic.
It bugged me a little bit that they sounded different to everyone else.
Also, it wasn't clear in the episode we watched, so I think that's just the poor choice of episode.
You say that every episode, you know
Who
that?
are Huey, Dewey, and Louie in relation? I know that they're Donald Duck's,
They are
that
Donald
he's
Duck's
their uncle.
nephews. Yep.
I know that Scrooge McDuck's what grandchildren?
Donald Duck. I don't know the relationship between Scrooge and Donald, to be honest. But when Donald joined the Navy, because Donald Duck is a sailor, because of the sailor outfit,
Yes.
he
Yep.
asked Scrooge to look after his nephews, which is why they live with him.
Right.
So I don't know if there is an actual relationship there, but
Mm. So what's the relation to Fenton? Is it literally just they
He's
just all are ducks?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
The Beagles,
Yes.
the Beagle Gang. If it wasn't for the name, I
Mhm.
wouldn't have known they were dogs.
Yep. I
They
thought
were-
they were
they just-
pigs when I first saw them.
They're just
I
animals.
know. I wrote down: are they beagles or raccoons or pigs? They're very much a loose kind of animation style.
Originally, the Beagle
Mhm.
Boys had no individual personalities. They were all the same, and they all looked the same. They were only mentioned by the numbers that they have around their necks, and they all begin 176. But that was for the comics. But for the cartoon, they gave them personalities and made them look different.
Right.
Mar Beagle.
Mhm.
I've no problem with the Beagles. They're fine. They are Disney young kid cartoon villains.
Yep.
It's a bit tenuous that she's going to win Mother of the Year by breaking them out of jail and then robbing an art gallery.
I like the symmetry between Mar Beagle and Fenton's mum, though.
Yes,
I like the fact that they're both doing it, but they're both, they're on opposite sides, and it's kind of cool.
but Mar Beagle walks like she's crapped herself.
Honestly, I didn't notice.
I didn't notice it until I watched it the second time. She's walking into the art gallery, into the museum, and she's got a proper "I've got a log in my pants" waddle going on. And I'm sure that's not the real reason, but that's what it looked like.
That family, I
Yep.
think this is an 80s stylization, but I couldn't help but thinking every time the Beagles were on, we're thinking of the Goonies enemies, the Goonies
Yes.
family. Sorry,
Yes.
the mum
Yes.
and the two sons. Well,
Oh my
and
god,
Sloth, I guess.
you've just blown my mind.
But
Yeah,
just got like
absolutely.
I guess their mum is not even as nice as my Beagle. It's
Well, at
probably
least,
just a stylization thing.
yeah, but no, you're right. That was spot on. Did you pick up? We've asked the last few episodes. We've asked, what have we learned? Has there been a message in this episode? And did you
Mhm.
pick up? There was two messages in this one. The first
Oh
one,
yeah.
well, two ones that I picked up. The first one was environmentalism.
Mm-hmm.
It's we're gonna collect these cans because it's hang on, because it's gonna make us some money, but it is also
And good for the planet, too.
Yep. I did, and I think it's because of the era I'm in, and it's kind of sad that I feel this way when cartoons say stuff like that, but I kind of felt like it was rammed down the throat a little bit. But I mean, that's not bad because it's a good message to send out. It's just a little tedious when the section is really long and it's about it. If you're going to central an entire episode about it, that's fine. But I think that's also probably just because I've grown up and obviously I know it and it's not aimed at me. It's good to teach kids that, and I think this early on is pretty impressive. The fact
yeah,
that it was 1990 and they're promoting recycling the same way Bob the Builder did it in like 2013 or something. So
absolutely,
it's pretty good.
absolutely. And it wasn't, as you said, a lot of the morals in cartoons are quite heavy-handed. They're beating you
Hmm.
over the head with it because they've only got a short amount of time, and it's, we need to get this through. But that wasn't. It was just a nod. It was just, we're going to do this,
Yeah, I
and
did like it.
it
I say
led
that.
into Garbage Duck because the Gizmo Duck loses his suit
Yeah,
and he becomes Garbage Duck. I actually really like Garbage Duck. That made me laugh. Oh,
yeah, that was good.
so I did laugh out loud once to this episode, which surprised
Wow.
me. I know. The first time I watched it, can you guess what it was? What made me laugh?
It's been a while since I've watched it. Let's see if it's in my notes. I know
What?
you. I don't think this is it, but it could be that you might have laughed at the fact that how because you hate upper class. So the fact that Scrooge McDuck's statue made of gold got melted.
Wasn't that? No, wasn't that?
No,
It was a
no,
really
what was it?
it was a really simple joke. Ma Beagle makes the Beagle Boys a cake
Hmm.
with there's no hacksaw in it because they look for the hacksaw in this wood. One of the Beagle Boys eats it and he starts hiccuping and starts vibrating, and then they used him as a jackhammer,
Yeah.
which was utterly ridiculous, but it made me laugh because then they're like, they're using, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so cartoony, but yeah, I found that funny.
That's all
Uh,
right. That's like Looney Tunes style. It's wacky. It's cartoon universe. You can do whatever you want.
yeah,
That's cool.
the
I like that.
when they were trying to make jokes, they sucked.
Hmm.
It was just forced and
Yeah.
painful, and they should stop doing that.
So you said you liked Garbage Duck.
I did. He was great.
Garbage Duck is all right. What I didn't like is the fact that he was wearing rubbish and
Mhm.
trash, and I mean he was on a lawnmower, which was quite funny. But when he went to stop the Beagle gang, they didn't respect him because I think they said he was wearing rubber or something, something really stupid. And I was like, so he's a superhero, but you don't respect him because he's just wearing rubbish. Like, I mean, if that's the case, why are you respecting him in the first place?
Well,
I don't understand why him being Trash Man is any different. I
it's
know
'cause
that like his power is from
he
a suit, but they didn't know that.
it's because he was rubbish. It's when he
Yeah.
goes, my hairdryer will take care of you, and he holds a hairdryer out,
Yeah.
and, he goes, and they made a crap joke about hairdressers, and then they threw him in the dumpster. He was, but I liked him. I liked the underdog. I liked Garbage Duck.
Hmm.
There was a bit um, when the kids first find the super suit. There's there's a little TV in the chest, and
Hmm.
a newsreader pops on. This is Walter Cronduck. which obviously, well, not obviously, but is a play on Walter Cronkite.
Hmm.
Do you know who Walter Cronkite is?
I know of him.
Do you
I mean, I know
think
he's.
kids of an appropriate age will know who Walter Cronkite is?
I actually don't know when he was around. When was he around?
70s and onwards.
Probably not then.
No.
Probably an adult.
And if that
Yeah,
it was just put in there for the adults, it was bad.
Yeah.
Frankly. So the one moral was the recycling, and the other one. Did you pick up on the other one? It was a bit heavy-handed, and I could see it coming a mile off. But then, I'm not the target audience.
the feminism style. You know, the women can do things just as good as men. Yeah.
Yes.
Which it was just all right. You know, I did write down. There's a nice bit of girl power. It was cool that she really wanted it. They didn't let her, so she donned it and then kicked ass. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. So we ended up with stuff like this.
Please, Louie. No way, Webby. Super stuff is for boys.
Super stuff is for boys. Terrible.
That her voice though, when she was asking for it, really irritated me.
Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, let me try the suit, Louie, please. Please, please.
Please,
Yes.
please.
That is exactly what I mean.
Yeah. So
Oh.
all the boys fight over the suit, and they all fail to stop the Beagles, and then Webigail. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Webigail finally gets the suit, beats up the Beagles, and wins the day. And one of the lads says, absolutely nothing because that clip didn't work.
Don't worry, I'll edit out.
But basically, it was girls can do it.
It's okay. Just give a pause and then I'll put it in. It's fine.
Yeah, and then they say girls can do it.
Yeah. That was a little bit heavy-handed, but I liked the fact that she kicked ass with it, and the fact that they wouldn't let her do it. I don't know. I didn't like the whole heavy-handedness that always comes with it, but that's Disney as well as.
It's as
cartoons.
soon as one of the kid says super stuff is for boys, it's like learning moment incoming.
Yeah.
It was really obvious. I'm assuming kids would. I didn't.
To be
like
honest,
it. I didn't like crap like that when I watched cartoons, but I'm a grumpy person.
Yeah. To be honest, when that came up, I was slightly paranoid that they were going to keep going with it, and super stuff wasn't for girls. I mean, I know we're in the 90s and it's a lot more progressive, but still, I was slightly paranoid that was going to happen. And I was like, this is going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Yes, it was rough.
And
I don't even know if they would.
Huh?
I don't even know if that's an angle that they would take these days. Yes, it's about inclusivity, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't see a cartoon these days being that heavy-handed about it, and B literally doing the girls can't do super stuff. I don't know.
I think it would be less heavy-handed. You're right. I think what would happen would be they would center a whole episode around it, kind of like this one was, but this one was it was the second half of the episode was about it. Whereas I reckon they'd very much address it head on, and not be a plot point.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. A couple of things that surprised me were when the Beagle Boys first escaped, the guards were actually shooting in a Disney cartoon. They had guns and everything, and they were blazing away off of the top of the prison. That surprised me.
No blood, though.
No, not blood. They didn't actually hit anything. It is a Disney cartoon, after all. And then, probably about 2/3 of the way through, as they go in to the museum, there was an actual car chase. And it wasn't just a car zooming by the camera. It was a proper car chase through the streets and everything.
I think I remember, yeah.
That was quite cool.
I did think. So one of the main things I was thinking was, so Gizmo Duck, right?
Mhm.
He's a superhero. The whole city knows about Gizmo Duck, don't they? Because
I
during
would
the
assume so. Yeah.
news,
Well, the kids like, oh, it's Gizmo Duck, but they should know who
yeah.
Fenton is.
I
Really?
mean, yeah. I mean, well, regardless of whether or not they know who he is or not, I would assume that the city knows who he is
Yes.
because I think they were talking about it on the TV. You know,
He's a
where is
superhero.
Gizmo Duck? Where is he? Like obviously Scrooge knows, who he is. Why? How do they not know how to activate the Gizmo suit?
Yeah, you'd think. I mean, he shouts it every time.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah.
point.
And although it took them 5 times of saying the word just to do it. I can't remember what the word was, but but it. Ah. Obviously, that's a moment for the kids to go on, do it, do it, do
Yeah,
it,
you
say
could
the
do
word.
it.
They're gonna say the word,
Mm.
but that would piss me off as a kid. Also, in the current climate of superhero culture, I'm surprised Gizmo Duck doesn't have his own comic.
I would be amazed if he hasn't starred in at least some strips as a
Yeah,
main character. But
I mean he's owned by Disney, and Disney's owned by Marvel now. So, well, Disney Film is not the actual cartoon,
what really bugged
comics.
me, really bugged me about Gizmo Duck is when he was in the suit, where did his feet
Mhm.
go?
Yeah.
Because it's just its legs, and then it goes down into that wheel. Where are his feet? That must be really painful.
Maybe he has his feet like well he's a duck, right? So they kind of like web feet that kind of bend round. So maybe it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just pointing the ground, no, down. Who
uh,
knows? Also, I don't know if this is going to be in the trivia, but there was a Star Destroyer sound effect
there
used.
was. I heard. Do you know
Yeah,
what? I heard it. And I just went that Star Wars,
yeah,
but I didn't. I couldn't.
immediately.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um.
I'm as much of a nerd that it took me about 5 seconds to remember where it was. I was like, it's definitely New Hope, definitely original trilogy. Okay, yeah, Star Destroyer.
No, I
It's
definitely
definitely
don't
Space Gun.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Originally, in the original comic books, which were drawn by a chap called Carl Barks, famous Disney artist, not an animator, Scrooge McDuck was greedier and media and was portrayed more as an antagonist rather than a protagonist. He was the bad guy.
Hmm.
Um,
Now, I want to say something about that because I know you don't like Scrooge McDuck because he's vain and he's upper class and he represents everything you hate about society.
yeah, yeah, I don't like greedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I would prefer him if he was the antagonist because for me, he's just kind of there. That's one of the main problems I've always had with DuckTales is that he's been so they go on adventures with him and yeah, that's cool and he's this cool guy, but they're not related to him, so he's not their grandparent. He's stupidly wealthy, but he doesn't do much with it
He
ever.
swims in
Like
it.
except he swims in it, but okay. I mean, I think it gets explained how he makes it, but he never really does making it. He's just kind of there all the time, and he seems to be this main focal point of DuckTales, but he's never really. It's always all about the kids, or sometimes about Fenton or something. It's never really. I maybe there's 1 or 2 episodes, but I've never really seen anything about him
He
or
made
anything to do with him.
he
His character just didn't seem convincing at all, and I feel like if he was more mean and more vain and more greedy, he would be more flawed, and I think that's better
yeah
because
he was definitely warmed up, made more
hmm
sympathetic and likable for the cartoon.
yeah, but like why he just does nothing for the story, especially the one we watched. He literally just stood around all the time calling for Gizmo Duck for the entire episode.
Well, that's it. I mean, he's a bit of a one note character in that
Yeah.
he he's just about the money. That all of his adventure is
Hmm.
about. Oh, I'm going to go get this very rich thing. I'm going to go do this thing that's going to make me more money. He does have there is affection for the kids, but
Yeah.
they're obviously not his because they're not wealth obsessed. They're good kids. They want to help the planet. They're going to make a fortune getting their dime a can when they hand in the recycling.
Yeah.
They're already rich. Old Scroogey
Well,
boy.
yeah.
Um,
If they wanted to. I
Scrooge.
think I would have preferred it if Scrooge. He may have been a point, but I feel like I preferred it if Scrooge was maybe based a bit more on like a Willy Wonka style character, really eccentric and really wild,
Yeah,
but like slightly odd.
I think. Yeah, I think he would work better as an antagonist rather than
Yeah, he's
a
a
warm and
Zara
fuzzy.
antagonist, or if you're going to keep him as that likable character, then make him this really weird, crazy character who has lots of money and is greedy about it, but also does really weird, wacky stuff. It doesn't really seem like he does a whole lot. I think in the newer ones, the remake stuff, he's a bit more involved,
Yes.
but he just doesn't really do anything.
Uncle Scrooge actually has a nemesis called
Mm,
Flintheart Glomgold,
right.
who wasn't in this
I think
episode.
I've heard of that.
He was in this episode. In the cartoon, he's portrayed as another Scot. In the comics, he was South African, but it was changed for the comics due to the apartheid regime that was still in effect when this was made, and they didn't want to get political.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit of a stretch, I think, to
Um,
guess it was political.
in the original comics, Donald Duck wasn't in the Navy, and he was always with Uncle Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie on their adventures. They took him
Right, yeah, that makes
out.
more sense.
They took him out of the cartoon because they didn't want him to steal focus from Scrooge, and the voice was too much.
The voice itself was too much. Disney
Yeah,
said that.
yeah.
In what
It would be
way?
too hard to understand.
But
Yep,
it's been
I
the
know.
same for like.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's
They
irritating, but it's not hard to understand.
they
I wouldn't say.
replaced his character with a new one for the cartoon called Launchpad McQuack, who got his own show later on called Tailspin.
Yes.
Launchpad McQuack is Scrooge's adventurous pilot who
Hmm.
flies them around the world.
Yep. And fun bit of trivia, that's what they call Scott Pilgrims. There's a song in Scott Pilgrim
There is
called Launchpad.
Launchpad McQuack in the very, very excellent movie.
That's not the actual title of the song.
Da, 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 da.
Ah,
Scrooge McDuck was created by Carl Barks, and it was introduced in the comic book story Christmas on Bear Mountain in 1947. He's been in other media, so he's been in the cartoon, he's been in a movie. He's mainly a comic book character with several thousand appearances in Disney comics.
Blimey.
Yes, he's been around for a while.
Disney seem to milk characters, though, especially their originals.
Yeah. Well, Scrooge McDuck is the protagonist of the comic book series Uncle Scrooge, which has been continuously published nearly constantly since 1952.
Man.
Still being made, and I'd never heard of it.
Nope.
We
Actually, I could have sworn I've heard of Scrooge McDuck being in other things other than DuckTales, but never heard of the comic.
No. Ron Jones, who is the composer of the theme and the scores, he cited Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark as an influence on the score. Very very heroic. Maybe on some of
I
them
get the
more
idea
adventurous.
why very adventurous, but I
Yeah.
don't see it personally.
No. The animation, whilst being produced by Disney, was actually outsourced to a Japanese company called Tokyo Movie Shinja. So it wasn't even made in America, which surprised me.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of that era where it was probably moving more to. Actually,
I can
well,
understand it's
yeah,
cheaper because the Japanese animation houses had been around for.
Yeah.
They had already gone to almost an industrial scale of animation. They were cranking stuff out, whereas Disney
Yep.
was still a bit more bespoke, a bit more quality aimed. Not that
they were
this
used to
wasn't
making movies. Yeah.
yeah, which not that this wasn't good quality, but it was just cheaper for them to farm it out.
Yep.
It was originally premiered as a TV movie special called The Treasure of the Golden Suns, which was later broken up into a 5-part serial to open the show. So it was originally a TV movie, and then on reruns and on DVDs and things, they broke it up into 5 episodes. It was revived in 2017 with the same characters, and as far as I'm aware, is still running. I did have that
Yep.
written down, but it's gone. In
It
August
was
19th,
on Netflix for a brief time, wasn't it? And then
I
they
believe so.
opened their Disney Plus.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Not long after the cartoon series ended in 1990, August 1990, the DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp, came out, which did pretty well. Huey, Dewey, and Louie all appeared in a 1990 drug prevention video, Cartoon All Stars to the Rescue. Of course they did.
That's very 90s. Very 90s.
So to stop kids taking drugs, we're going to have 2 small ducks tell them not to take drugs. So here, kids, here's a trip. If you don't want to see talking ducks, don't do drugs.
And also no girl duck for the girls to empathize with. This is terrible.
I couldn't find out when Webbigail. I really hate that name. I can't. I don't know.
Fine.
I don't know if she was created for the cartoon or if she had been brought in earlier as a comic book character to appeal to girls.
I think I've always seen that there were 4 of them. Well, maybe it might be midway.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. They were always not Daffy. You've got me doing it. Donald Duck's.
Donald.
Yeah, Donald Duck's sidekicks in the comic books.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. But I think she was introduced for the TV show.
Probably. This spawned, as most Disney franchises do, quite a few video games. There was one developed by Capcom and released for the Nintendo, the NES, the Nintendo System, and the Game Boy in 1989. And then a sequel to the game, DuckTales 2, was released for the NES and Game Boy in 93. I'm not quite sure who was still asking for it in 93, but
yeah,
don't doubt the power of Disney. One of the old handheld LCD games, the Liquid Crystal display games. Do you remember those? I think you may have had 1 or 2 when you were very young. But they're simple little things. Handheld LCD games. Tiger Electronics released one in 1990 for the Ducks, and then a mobile game was released by Artifact Games and published by Disney Mobile, and that came out in 2011 in Moscow, of all places. Who was asking who was asking for a Disney DuckTales mobile game in 2011? I don't know.
2011. What?
There was a platform game in 1990, DuckTales: The Quest for Gold. DuckTales Remastered, a HD remake of the original game, came out in 2013, and it was released on the Xbox Live Arcade in 2013.
Of course.
They seem like odd choices.
Did they ever do anything for the Game Boy?
Yes, there was one. DuckTales 2, the original game and DuckTales 2 came out on the Game Boy. Both came out on the Game Boy, so it was the NES and the Game Boy. Do you remember?
Probably where it's all based.
Do you remember Disney Infinity?
Yes.
That was one of those computer games where you have the statues and you put them on the thing, and then they appear in the game, and there's different adventures to have. There was some DuckTales items, but no, I don't think there were many characters released for Disney Infinity. Launchpad McQuack was a selectable character in a mobile game titled Disney Snow Sports in 2007. An app was released by Disney in 2013 called DuckTales Scrooge's Loot, so another mobile game. And then Scrooge McDuck, Launchpad McQuack, Weddy, Vanderquack, Magica Dispel, and Gizmo Duck appeared in the Disney Emoji Blitz in 2017.
What the hell is the Disney emoji?
I don't know, but I'm going to look it up. I'll tell you what, I'm going to look it up, and I will post some. I'll post some screenshots on Instagram and Twitter so people can have a look at them. And then last but not least, the latest one in 2019, Huey, Dewey and Louie, Scrooge, Gizmo Duck, Donald Duck and Launchpad McQuack were added to Disney Heroes Battle Mode.
Disney Heroes.
So you too can beat the snot out of a Disney character.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, I know it's following the trend these days for Rumble games, for battle games, but it just seems like an odd fit for Disney.
It's weird because, like, with Nintendo, Smash Bros. Just makes sense because there's a lot of like dangerous characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are, the game characters. Disney, I don't really want Simba to go up against. I mean, whilst it'd probably be cool in real life, Simba versus the Beast. I think Belle versus Nala might be a bit evil.
I'm
you
down.
know.
I'm completely in for that. I want to see Snow White going tra la 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 la, get ripped apart by the Beast from Beauty and the
I know, I
Beast.
want her to like go for it.
Or even a couple of the princesses rolling at their sleeves and laying the smack down.
But something that I've been thinking about when you were saying all of these things that Disney has released,
Mhm.
like from this, I think Scrooge McDuck is a a duck sonification of Disney
I see what you did there.
as a corporation. Not only evil, but very vain, and they like their money and they bought superheroes to protect them.
I'll tell you what. In the after show, if you're listening to the
Mhm.
podcast, you can go check it out on YouTube. And once we finish recording the audio, we carry on having a quick chat. I'll tell you in the after show why I don't like Disney.
Yeah, he will go into full detail.
Yeah. So yeah, join us later, why don't you, on YouTube if you want to really see me go red in the face.
That's youtube.com/serial viewing.
Serial viewing, yes. Just look for serial viewing. We're there. Like,
Mhm.
follow, and subscribe, people. Leave comments. Sorry.
Shut up.
Yeah. So, DuckTales.
Mhm.
What did you think? I mean, it was, as a cartoon, it was fairly middle of the road, which I would expect of Disney. There was nothing shocking there. It was age appropriate. I think it would be far more interesting if somebody remade it as a horror or made it a lot
You
more
said that about
dark.
all of these.
I know, but it would. These
I
kids
don't. I
TV
didn't see
kids
that
TV
one.
shows.
That's Count Dracula.
Kids. That's a good point. No, darker. Go dark. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, there was nothing particularly outstanding. Nothing particularly weird about it. It was what it was. It was very middle of the road, as I said. Um, if you had to give it a mark out of 10, any thoughts on
Well,
DuckTales? Would you watch it again? Would you recommend someone with young children to watch it?
DuckTales is one of those TV shows that came out when it was kind of for my generation, and I never watched it. This is the first time I've really watched an episode. It's a similar thing with Animaniacs for me, which is really strange. I always hear people talking about, "Oh, do you remember Animaniacs?" I never really watched
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs.
They're zany
Um,
to the max. Sorry.
but yeah, I mean, it was alright. For me, this was very much home territory. It was a 90s style cartoon. Um, and it wasn't bad. We've watched worse on this podcast.
Wurzel Gummidge,
By
looking
far.
at you.
To be honest, not just Wurzel Gummidge, I think. Um, yeah, I mean, the animation itself was good. I didn't see any I didn't see any errors with it or any issues. No coloring issues. Seemed smooth enough. Yeah, it was all right. Yes. I mean, there were some irritating parts in it, but apart from that, I'd give it out of 10. 7.
A 7. Well, that's quite high.
It is quite high, and I like some of it was irritating, but I would definitely show this to modern kids. It's very, very kid friendly. It teaches lessons as no matter how much they ram it down your throat. And I don't know if I'd ever be that interested in watching anymore. I've kind of had my fill. I didn't need to watch it. I only watched it for the podcast.
Well, yeah, we're not really the target audience.
Yeah.
It's. I'm going to say something controversial for me. I didn't dislike it.
Ooh,
When I
Disney.
when I watched when I watched it the first time, it was just it is what it is. I watched the second time, and I think because I was looking slightly more closely, I appreciated it more for what it is, which is just
Hmm.
simple, kid friendly,
Yeah,
a way to spend 20 minutes.
yeah. It's very kid friendly, and it's not to the point of where they're trying to sell you something. Like maybe Gizmo Duck, like that's the thing. It's not. It was all about creating entertainment for children whilst at the same time teaching them a lesson. And that's I respect that a lot more than I do something that comes out today, especially like I liken this to the fact that they remade Ben 10 and that didn't need to happen, but just so they can sell Ben 10 style toys
Yeah,
and again, and it
yeah.
doesn't need to happen. Like none of this needs to happen. So, whereas Ducktales, if this came on, I'd probably sit and watch it. To be honest, it's the sort of thing, but I wouldn't actively go and watch it
No,
ever.
well,
I
I
don't think.
think we are not the target audience. It is for young kids. But
No, but
if
saying
I
that, I
was, if
have
I,
watched all of Trapdoor since the
it's
first
because Trapdoor is
episode.
awesome.
Exactly.
Um, if I was talking to a friend that had young children and they said, "Would you recommend this or just recommend me a kids' TV show?" I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't point them towards this because
Really?
it's just there's more interesting stuff out there. I would go watch Trapdoor. It's just
Yeah.
it's a little bit too middle of the road. It's a little bit too safe. It is, as much as I appreciate it, is essentially a bit boring because nothing really happens and there's no real peril and there's nothing
Could be
really
the episode we
funny.
watched.
It could be, but I'm judging it on this episode because I haven't watched DuckTales ever.
Yeah.
Um, I did rate initially. I did give it quite a high score,
Hmm.
but it's losing some. As I've been thinking about it, it's losing some points because it is so generic. It's
Yeah,
just
that is true. I feel like though, for the fact that this came out in the 1990, so this is before this kind of style of cartoon came out, where they weren't trying to sell you anything, that they're just trying to entertain kids and teach a lesson. I feel like we're used to that more now because that sort of era, I'd say, what would be late 80s to, I guess, early mid 2000s,
yeah.
maybe even earlier than that.
It
But
doesn't
yeah,
have the cute factor of other shows. It doesn't have the excitement factor. There's nothing really
that is true.
interesting going on.
They
Gizmo
were
Duck is
annoying.
Gizmo Duck is, as superheroes go, is fine for Duckburg, for the world he's in, but it's not. Eh. So I gave it quite
Fan-
high, and then the more I've thought about it, the faster it's dropped. So if I had to give it a rating out of 10, it would get a solid 5, which is middle
yeah,
of the road. It is middle of the road, so you've got a middle of the road
yeah,
score. So between the two of us, if you average that out, it gets a score of 6 out of 10, which is a
yeah. I think
lot.
that's fair.
That's a lot higher than I thought it would get, to be honest.
Yeah, before we watched it, yeah.
Yeah, because it just, eh. Like I said, there's more interesting stuff out there.
Also, I just want to add, I'm pretty sure Fenton is Daffy Duck, in like Whiteface or something. He's just died. He just sounds like him, and also he's really irritating. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Um,
Yeah.
go watch Daffy Duck. He's funnier.
Yes. Yeah. Looney Tunes is better than this, I think.
So that was it.
Because
That
when
was.
you want,
Oh, go on.
well, let's say when you want to watch a cartoon, you want to watch it for the stupidness. You want to watch
Yeah,
it for the looniness.
but that's it. It's interesting. He's
Yeah.
he's just blown his own bill off with a shotgun, or he's
Yeah.
doing his
It's
funny
dumb.
woohoo woohoo woohoo. Yeah, it's dumb. It's funny. Whereas this was just
That's why early SpongeBob was awesome because it was the weirdest crap, but it was hilarious about it.
I'm a big fan of SpongeBob because it just gets really surreal in places.
I think we need to do early SpongeBob at some point when we get a chance.
It's not on the list, but we
It's
should. I think we should add it to the list. It's
more
big. It's
modern
important.
than we done, but I think early SpongeBob, yes. Maybe it'll be a special episode where we compare early SpongeBob to new SpongeBob.
So, listeners, what do you think? Should we do SpongeBob? We'll have a little vote.
Yes.
Let us know.
That's nice.
So that was DuckTales, and it got out of it better than I expected. Next episode.
Duck season. So.
I'm excited about next episode. The next episode we're going to watch a TV show from the very, very early 90s called Nightmare, which was shown on British television.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Nightmare's next.
I thought we were going to do Nightmare after.
No. It got bumped to the back. We had a scheduling mess up. So the episode we were going to do today instead of DuckTales kind of got pushed back because I've got a big mouth. And that's been bumped again. So next episode is Nightmare because I want to watch it, and I have very fond memories of it, and it was different and out there and quasi live action. And
Really?
Yes, I'm interested to see someone who's never seen it before, their opinion. I mean, I've tried watching it again since a couple of years ago. No, last year actually, and I have opinions. But join us if you remember Nightmare. Join us if you don't remember Nightmare. Join us anyway, because then we're going to talk about it. And we'll tell you all about it.
Personally, I've never watched the show. I mean, again, I don't even think I've heard of it. It's definitely something I've only heard of very recently due to you and other friends just talking about it.
It was groundbreaking for the time, and you'll see why.
Okay.
If you do want to get in touch, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future shows that you'd like to listen to, you can email us at serialviewing@gmail.com, or you can go find us on Instagram or Twitter. Both are at serialviewing. Check us out. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Henry.
I've been a Jeremy.
He has been a Jeremy. If you would, we'll see you next time. And we're clear. I seem to have completely forgotten how to speak right at the end there.
What?
I forgot how to speak.
Henry?
Yes, Jeremy. What?
Oh, no, okay. Sorry, I thought for some reason logic was... That can't be right.
What?
No, logic was telling me that we did that for 2 hours.
No.
No,
An
it's
hour.
in the second half. Just an hour, though. That's our longest one, though.
Yeah, it is.
There was a lot of information in that one.
You scared the shit out of me then. I'm like, what? I've recorded everything once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't... Brain no worky towards end. That was the shittest
Yeah,
sign-off
you
ever.
gonna start
I just could...
I kind of want to say anything. I was like, he's going to start it.
That was awful. I'm not
Yeah,
going to use
and
the soundboard again. It's too much faff. Until I can
using
figure
a
out...
soundboard.
Yeah, or using these things until I can figure out another way of doing it.
Did you not play it with VST?
Yeah.
VST? VLC?
It was. I played it through VLC, but it wasn't convenient. So I'm going to ditch them, and you can just, if you want to, you can add them.
Well, I do, but it'd be nice to have the queue. Like, I don't mind.
Until I'm going to...
Like, we can do that insert here.
Yeah.
You know, we'll just say it.
I'll just wait for insert voice clip.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the after show.
Yeah, I forget we're still recording this every time.
Can you tell that we have actually taken... it's been 3 weeks? Since we recorded the
No,
last one?
2 weeks?
No, it must be longer.
No, it might be... Oh, no, it's 2.5 weeks, yeah. Because it was
2.5
last...
weeks, 'cause it
or even
feels
longer
like,
than that, yeah.
It feels like years ago because I was just out.
Yeah.
I forgot how to do stuff. I forgot how to talk. Help.
Mhm.
Right, Disney. Disney make. If you put everything that Disney make into a paint pot, you'd get beige paint. They are
Beige.
beige. So they're like, oh, the magical kingdom, and oh, everyone loves it, and yeah, give us your money. Come to Disneyland. It's a magical place for an amount of cash.
It's got
They
blood
don't.
in the paint.
They don't care. They don't. They don't give a shit about people. They just want your money. That's it. There is
The
no.
anger.
There is no. There is no humanity to Disney as a corporate empire. Yes, there are individuals who will. I know. Perhaps somebody's very sick and they're going to pass away soon, so they can watch the movie first. That happens. That's great. Good for them. As an entity, they can fuck right off. Yeah, I hate them.
Very, very corporate is what
It is.
Henry's
It's
trying to
massively
say.
corporate, and it's this whole we care bit. No, you don't. Well, you do care. You care about the money I've got, and you want me to not have, and you have it.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
educate yourself,
it,
people. Go find a diagram of everything that Disney owns, and it
oh,
is
it is scary.
shocking. The amount of the entertainment industry that is Disney, even if it's you have to
Mhm.
go up 2 layers to find them, they're there. I am softening towards
Disney.
Disney because they've done pretty good with Star Wars. I know lots of people don't like it. I think they've carried on. I think they've carried it on reasonably well. I've got no problem
I
with it.
don't.
I know you don't, but it's
I think
it's
it's all
fine.
right, but
It's fine. I've got no real problem with it.
I didn't like the first one. The second one was okay. It was a bit meh, and the third one was all right.
But
It
even
wasn't as
that,
bad as people let on, but yeah.
they purchased the Star Wars franchise and they carried it on because it's worth a
hmm
lot of money for them. And I get
So,
it.
so I've got a map here. So there's Disney owned Marvel Entertainment, so Marvel Toys, Marvel Television, Marvel everything. They
Yeah.
own Marvel Studios,
Didn't know that,
which
did
is
you? You all thought Marvel was.
yeah. So they own Marvel Music, Marvel Productions, Marvel Development. They own which is actually owned by Marvel. As what is it's a that corporation of Marvel. They own 21st Century Fox, which everyone should know about. This recent thing, which
Yep.
means they own 20th Century Fox, the actual production company. They own Fox Sports,
Yep.
Fox News, Fox Star Studios. They own
Fox
Sky.
News.
They own National Geographic. They own Endemol Shine Group, which is a huge thing. They own
Endemol.
Hulu. They own Star TV. They own FX Networks.
Yeah.
Um, they own Disney Music Group, which has Hollywood Records, Walt Disney Records, Disney Concerts, and Disney Music Publishing. They own the Disney Theatrical Group, which owns all the Disney, theater. They own ABC Television Group, which is the American Broadcasting Company,
Yep.
which is ABC News, the History Network. They own A&E. They own Lifetime. They own Vice. They own ESPN. They own Longhorn Network. They own Sphero, which I'm not sure what it is. They own Title Max, which is a production company. They own Ready Creek Improvement. They own Buena Vista Construction Company. They own
Well, yeah.
Steamboat Ventures.
Yeah.
They own UTV. They own. It's huge. I'm not saying all of them because there's some of them are really small. They're all just like parts of other ones.
And
They
some of them,
own, and then they
like,
own the Walt Disney Parks Experience Consumer Products, and they own Lucasfilm Limited. They own Pixar. They own Buena Vista Theaters Incorporated. They own Touchstone Pictures. They own Worldwide and all the
it comes
Disney resorts.
it
And
comes
yeah,
down to that
it's a bit
whole
ridiculous.
corporate illusion of choice thing. In that you
What's the
think,
Synergy Group?
well, like things like Buena Vista Construction, they exist to build Disney properties. That's it. That's what they're there for. And a lot of companies are set up like their legal department. They'll buy a lawyer. They'll buy a lawyer company, and it will become the Disney
Yeah,
legal teams. And it's this whole. I'm not particularly having a go against Disney. They're just one of the really
it's just
obvious ones.
corporate.
And I understand we live in a capitalist society, and good on them. They want to make money, but it's got to stop somewhere. Because you end up, as I
Before
said
they
before,
own the whole
you end up
fucking
with this
thing.
illusion of choice thing where you've got half a dozen massive corporations that own dozens
Yes.
of brands underneath it, and you think, oh, well, I'm going to support this brand rather than that one. They're the same people.
They're all the same brand.
It's the
Yeah.
same people. You just go up the tree. You're still giving your money. Oh, I'm not going to support them because I don't like their whatever, their attitude. Yeah, you kind of are, because if you're buying these people,
Mhm.
it's all going up the tree. Of course,
So the key for this is Disney owned companies in film, television, music and radio, gaming, finance, theatre, consumer goods, property and parks, publishing, digital / miscellaneous.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
get
a
there are
lot.
children who get a lot of joy out of Disney. Good on them. I think the adults that get slightly too much joy out of Disney need to really have a think about
Right
their
in.
life. Yep. It's like the grown adults who are still buying Winnie the Pooh pajamas. Yeah, stop it.
This is creepy.
Yeah, it is. But you wear
Mhm.
you wear what you want to wear. But I'm gonna make fun of you
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Also, I want to rant about the.
I mean, I can't complain too much. I'm wearing a Chewbacca
Yeah,
t-shirt.
yeah.
I have. Well,
There's
so
that.
I think you probably bought this for me actually. Oh no, you got me the hoodie. This
Oh,
was
I
someone
didn't
else.
buy that one.
Yeah, so this was a Christmas present. So my family cash has gone to Disney. I went to see Star Wars, so perhaps I'm being a slightly bit of a hypocrite, but I am still bitter about it.
Um, I'm just gonna check whose makes my t-shirt.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. The first thing is, does Disney own Rick and Morty? So I'm really curious. I think it's Adult Swim. Is it 20?
Follow the money.
Huh. Yep, Rick and Morty is a 20/XX traditionally hand-drawn film made by Walt Disney Animated Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Pictures in USA with Warner Brothers. It is based on in the Adult Swim animated TV.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is different. This is a different Rick and Morty. Unless it
There's-
is just Rick and Morty.
I was gonna say there's another one.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's like it might be a cartoon, comic.
Anyway, let's talk about the next episode, Nightmare.
Okay.
So, I mean, we'll talk about this in the episode, but hey, you guys have stuck with us this long. Listen to me rant. So we'll talk about Nightmare.
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
Real quick before we go into Nightmare, Warner Brothers is just as bad as Disney.
Yes, they are.
We love
They all-
Looney Tunes, but it's exactly the same thing. They
It's
own
all-
like the other half of the.
all the same deal. It's all the same deal.
It's Universal, Disney, and Warner Brothers, and it's the same with music. Universal, Sony, and Warner Brothers.
Chocolate, telecoms, soft drinks. There's essentially
Mm-hmm.
two companies in the world for soft drinks. You've got Pepsi and Coke.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
I
it.
think
I
even-
mean, there are others, but
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's literally it. It's the same
Wow.
with chocolate as well, like you say.
When we did an episode on DuckTales, I didn't think we'd get onto like corporate.
Actually, I like the idea, like the fact that Scrooge McDuck is making us talk about a capitalist society that we're living in. It's almost like they knew for the future. Anyway, yes, Nightmare.
No, yeah. So Nightmare was an attempt to capitalize on video games. If you remember, back in the early 90s, video games were still pixelated. They were still blop, 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 blop. They were
Very new.
Pac-Man and that kind of stuff. They're still fun. So you'd end up with this... you'd get some dweeb from the Midlands. Oh, yes, I'm here with my friends. We're going to do this. And they'd put this massive helmet on him, and he'd basically wander around. He'd basically wander around a warehouse. And then he'd walk forward, and then his three mates would tell him where to go. He'd have this helmet on, he couldn't see. And they're like, okay, walk forward. And he'd walk forward. Right, stop. Okay, turn to your left. There's a table. And there would be a table. And it'd all be like digitally created background with actors dressed as whatever, orcs and things. And it was like a Dungeons and Dragons thing, but live action. Kind of.
But with the main character being blind.
Yeah.
So the main person learns the mates.
If he took the helmet off, he'd obviously see that he's standing in a warehouse with some bloke dressed as an orc and a bunch of very bored production assistants just standing around going
Wait, so he could see through the helmet,
Nope.
but it would be
Couldn't see.
project. No,
He
not
couldn't
at
see.
all. So it doesn't
Nope.
even project the
He
virtual.
was blind. He could see nothing. But his
Right.
teammates could see him on a TV, and they'd go like, "Oh, right, in front of you is a door, and to your left is a table. Walk forward." And
This
again,
is like a very British TV show.
oh, it's so British, and there'd be like NPCs, non-player characters, standing around and go, "There's a man standing behind a table. He looks like he's got something to say. Talk to him." Or what shall I say? And they'd all sit there with their bits of paper and scribble. It's fantastic. It's so stupid. It's brilliant.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
And I'm gonna make you watch it. So go watch it.
Sounds yeah.
It's great. I'm not
Hmm.
sure it's going to hold up particularly well, but I'm excited to find out.
Sounds a bit like Crystal Maze meets that medieval Total War thing we watched. The TV show that was on that.
Oh,
That's the one. Isn't Richard Hammond in that?
Richard Hammond was in
Did they redo it?
Crystal. He was in the original Crystal Maze.
Was he?
No, not Richard Hammond.
No.
No, Richard Hammond.
Richard Ayoade did the
Richard Ayoade
updated
did-
Crystal
yeah.
Maze,
Yes.
but I think Richard Hammond was in that medieval Total War thing.
Oh,
you know
Time
where they used
Commanders.
it was a battle planner thing.
Time Commanders.
Yeah.
I don't. He wasn't in the
There's a
original
lot of those
series.
kinds of British style shows where they're like running through a maze or doing something in virtual reality, or
Time
they're all
Commanders.
just effing around.
If you've never seen Time Commanders, it's basically Total War, the Total War computer game series, but being controlled by, I don't know, 6 accountants from
A
Rotherham.
family. Yeah.
Yeah, or a family, and they'll take command of different and they would send this unit around there, and they'd fight the battle on this massive
Mhm.
screen. It was fantastic, batshit
Yeah,
nonsense,
this projection thing.
and you'd have these real academically recognised historians. These getting really excited. Oh, you see
Yeah.
the Numenorians coming around the side. They're playing a computer game.
Yeah.
That was a good mix.
And I mean, it was a good game, but I mean, when they were using medieval Total War 1, I mean, some of it's pretty janky in that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Anyway, go
This
watch
is the
that.
British television. Yeah.
All right, YouTubers, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I've said it again because you're on YouTube. You've got to say it. It's the law. If you do have any
Yep.
suggestions, leave us a comment or don't. We love
Or
you.
head to www.serialviewing.com
.com.
to go and check out the past podcasts. We're moving. So if you're a frequent listener, we're moving our cereal boxes back of the cards.
Back of the cereal box cards.
Like
Yep.
the pop rumps cards.
Yes.
To the actual website itself, because just to clear everything up in the podcast.
Yes.
And so go check those out. You can collect them all.
Collect them all and then have battles with your
And
friends.
battle. But it's essentially a simulation.
Simulized.
Sorry, not simulation. I was trying to say simulation. A simulation of like back of the boxes of cereal that you used to get.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right, people.
And so you'd used to eat cereal, play with your cards, watch cartoons.
Cut the little quizzes and crap out of the back of your
Yeah,
cereal box.
mazes.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Thank you very much, YouTubers. We are out of here. Bye.